This conference will now be recorded.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
She's not annoying today.
That's fine. Okay, so I think in the meantime, Tina didn't say she wasn't going to come, right?
No, she did not say that.
Okay, so why don't we just start talking about the tentative budget? Also on the agenda is you have copies of the resolution, which would allow us to go to a public hearing to override the tax cap, which is just pretty much a insurance policy on behalf of the town, because we're not getting anywhere near close to the tax cap. So when we do action items, we'll probably introduce that first, the resolution, and then we'll go to the preliminary budget notes. But in the meantime, if anybody wants to start making comments about the budget notes, go right ahead.
Well, I know that John had asked for Ashton to go up to 25 an hour, and I do think that would be appropriate. He's a good employee, and he's worked for the town for longer than quite a few, at least a few people making more than him. So I want to bring that up.
The hard part about it is, and we faced this for a while, is that the town has not really followed a performance review kind of stuff, right? So we tend to have to follow a general standard of increase over the various departments because there's no record of people sitting down getting their annual reviews and having supervisors signed off and things like that. So there's no sort of documentary basis to justify denying somebody at 4%, for example, say they're not doing that well. So it tends to end up being just we either the policy is we either do a per dollar an hour wage versus a percentage, or some towns will give you $1.25 more per hour for this class of workers in the town, but we're doing a percentage. And what that tends to do is it closes the gap between the higher hourly employees and then the people who are towards the bottom are getting the $1.25 or something. They're catching up to the more longevity guys. So that's the only other way, apart from, there's just no principle play for us to do it without annual performance reviews. Hello, Tina. Thank you for coming.
How are you?
We're just discussing the budget right now. Tim asked one question about Ashton. John had requested Ashton get a $25 an hour raise.
No.
$25 an hour, right?
No.
Raise to.
It's recorded. Pardon me. Excuse me, world. So I messed that one up. So he, up to $25 an hour.
Yeah.
My point was, it's hard for our town until we start doing annual employee performance reviews and stuff like that to signal out one particular employee and saying, yes to Ashton, no to somebody else who did something really great over the year. That's all.
Especially when we just lost my employee because we weren't paying enough.
Yeah.
Well, that's the fear.
Oh, okay.
And,
Yeah.
Ashton,
Hold on for a second. We've got too much talking going on. All right, have a seat, Doug. Go ahead.
I put in your mailbox, Norm resigned, went to Keene Highway. And, actually, I was gonna let you know, I'm gonna post his position tomorrow. And, you guys have the letters up there?
Yes.
Yeah.
So his sole reason for going is Keene's $4 more an hour. So we have an open position at the highway. And then tomorrow I'll post his position, because we're going in the winter.
The thing Ashton has going for him is he has the title of Deputy Park Superintendent and the longevity, and I think last time we talked about it, I think John said he had missed like one day, or it was a very low number of days in the time he's worked for the town. So I think there are some objective criteria that would validate giving him the extra 55 cents.
I'm not totally against it. However, a few years ago, we gave Ashton a $2 an hour increase when everybody else did not get that. Ashton has had several raises when other people haven't had raises. And I mean, I look at the highway and one of the people that just left, Norm, for example, was making 26, or Riley 26, and they're carrying CDL licenses, and Ashton doesn't have a CDL, a water license, EMT license, or anything. So, I'm kind of just trying to justify why we would bring him to almost the same as a highway employee that has a CDL license or water licenses or something, when he doesn't have any of those qualifications.
He'd still be at $2 an hour or less. But what about a quarter rather than 55 cents?
I just don't, I mean, I'm kind of in favor. I don't really know
Because I'm
why
afraid
he would justify more than anybody else. And if he's really going to leave for a quarter an hour, then he must have been ready to leave anyway. I don't think a quarter an hour is going to make somebody jump ship.
Well, yeah, I was trying to come up with something that everyone could agree to. If 55 is, if people are balking at that, I was trying to think of another number.
We also, I mean, how many years has he worked here?
He just has 5 years.
Okay, so he's getting a longevity boost from the town. That's higher than, how long has Riley been here?
3.
Okay, so he gets paid a bigger longevity boost than Riley does. So we use longevity to help those people who've been around here longer to get a little more money from the town.
Okay, well, I just wanted to bring it up.
So Tina, now that you're here, can we return to the resolution to propose local law number 1 of 2025, entitled local law to override the tax levy limit establishing general municipal law. Basically, if we pass this resolution, we would order a public hearing on it, whether we need to, well, I don't think we'll need to pass it, but it would be on the 6th day of November at 6 p.m. So people could talk to us about what they think is us overriding the local law. And, but it's just something that if we don't do this, we couldn't possibly override the local law.
It's kind of just a good housekeeping thing that
Yeah.
the towns have always done,
Yeah.
just in case there was ever a type of calculation errors or anything, and then all of a sudden the state come to us and said, hey, this is wrong, and this was never passed, so it doesn't actually mean anything. It's just basically a way to cover our butts if anything ever came up in the future. And after we pass a preliminary budget and bring it to the public hearing, we can basically never add any more money to it anyway. We can only cut money out of it. So there's
That's
really
correct.
no way for us to go over. It's just an insurance policy, so we couldn't get in trouble.
Okay. So let's, can I have a motion to propose this resolution? As written. Karen makes it. Is there a second? Any discussions or questions about it?
Can we just discuss the dates, the deadlines that, for the tentative and the final to all be submitted to the state? I know these are state requirements, some of these deadlines. Can you remind us what those are?
Well, public hearing must be held by the Thursday following Election Day, which we're set for the 6th. The preliminary budget has to be finalized before that public hearing. So basically, we should do this today to have it ready for public hearing.
And then the way this works is you have to vote to override the tax cap before you can So it all happens. So we have the public hearing for the local law, then we have a public hearing for the preliminary budget. And then we can vote for to override the tax cap after the public hearing. And then the final budget's due when?
Final budget must be adopted by November 20th.
Okay, so we can close the public hearing on the preliminary budget, circle back based on what the public comments on, and schedule a meeting.
I believe after the public hearing, you said we could override it. I believe after the public hearing, we cannot add any more money to the budget.
That's
You can
correct.
only cut it at that.
That's
point.
right, I'm just, the order in which you're supposed to do the vote is the local law must be passed first, that's all. And it may be we don't have anything to say.
So are we voting on this?
Just a resolution to put it on a public hearing for next,
Okay,
the 6th.
all right, but we're not voting for or against the tax cap at this point.
That's correct.
Okay, we're just voting to resolve, to put it on the future. Okay,
Exactly, and to
gotcha.
hear from the public. So, so we'll need a roll call vote for that, please.
I'm just trying to read this first before I vote on it. Sorry.
Karen,
Yes.
Laura,
It's not that.
No, it's this.
Oh.
This is saying, sorry, may I clarify?
That's all right, we're clarifying.
Okay, clarify that this, we are making a resolution to put this into a public hearing. We're not voting on the tax cap right now. We're voting that we would like to be a public hearing set for November 6th to override the tax cap vote. We would vote on the overriding of the tax cap on November 6th,
Got it.
not voting on overriding the tax cap.
Got it. Yep. I mean, I hear what everyone's saying, but I personally don't, I can't see unless there's a,
We understand, Tim, but I guess it's one of those things that we said it's kind of good housekeeping is like, what's the harm of doing it?
it's like insurance, it's a safety net.
okay. Grudgingly, yes. Reluctantly, yes.
Yes,
Dina? Yes. David?
Yes.
Carrie?
Thank you. That's done. Back to the budget, please. Okay. So, right in front of everybody right now is the proposed modified tentative budget that followed from discussions at the budget workshop that we had on the 15th. There were changes between the first tentative, which is all in black on the left column. The budget that was produced for us at the workshop was the one in red. And then the green is the one that we have in front of us. Darren pointed out, and I agree with him too, that putting $20,000 of bed tax money in for streetlights may not be kosher. So the green reallocates it towards, we would apply $12,500 of that $20,000 for the parks laborer too, to cover the events for the salary services.
And that also increased the amount of hours that they had because there was discussion on that. So that gave them more hours for the second employee.
Which is TBD, right? Basically, it's probably KC, but we don't know because who knows what it'll be next year. Okay.
That's right. I mean, theoretically, we may be looking at new personnel. I mean, ideally, I would like to see that from the opening of the beach to the end of Columbus Day, the weekends need to have somebody on. It can't be John on call all the time and things like that. And I certainly think the town would benefit from getting some steady person who John has confidence in and doesn't need to worry about who will show up and cover the weekends. We have so many people in town at the beach and using our bathrooms and things like that. So hopefully the board next year and John will be able to find an employee that everybody feels good about, wants to do all the work and the lifting and can operate maybe the John Deere or stuff like that. But, but this budget allows for the two-person scenario sort of based on last year, but it increases it, and it also puts, I think it's clear that bed tax money is perfectly appropriate to hire people to work when it's visitor season. And most of the garbage is generated by visitors anyway. So that's what that did. What other changes are in this one?
We raised the sidewalks from the October 15th meeting, it was at 2,700. Now it's at 10,000.
Okay. So that's, I think, that's just because we had 20,000 to reallocate. That one got increased in the 12,500 for the parks labor got increased. And that one, bed tax money is very, lines up appropriately with sidewalk repair. And it would be nice going forward to start funding that line in the budget consistently. So there's a pool of money there. I mean, we've heard from guests in the public a few times about how much it costs to do 100 yards of sidewalk in the town of Jay. It's $40,000 or something like that. So if we can start saving a little money in that account, and then the town will be comfortable to do some serious repair somewhere when it shows up.
Repair, improvement, or additions. I mean, it's all.
Yeah, no, that's all good. But it's part of it's a step in the right direction.
Louis?
Yeah.
You can use CHIPS money for that too, right?
I'm not sure. I've never looked at that.
Well, it's something that you wouldn't be in favor of if I'm not speaking out of line, because you can barely keep up with your road paving with CHIPS money.
Yeah, I didn't know if it's on the list, but I wouldn't probably do that now, just because I should keep up with my job.
So apart from those two, I don't see any other changes in the allocation of Roost funds or bed tax money for 2025. So the question we have is with bed tax, I might as well, that's being sort of redesigned at the county level. Because the county submitted proposed legislation for the state government to revise the statute from 1999. There's been a lot of heavy hand-wringing and stuff like that, negotiation going on between the Roost and the county. And the county has agreed to create a series of contracts between the county and each of the towns for what to do with the bed tax money. And they're drawing them up right now, and I'll have to submit and show everybody that if and when I get it.
Favor, is that the 3% or the 2%? The 2%, right?
Yeah, it's the 2%. I don't know. I'm not privy to the conversations right now in the county between North Elba and the rest of them about what other things they may surprise us. I had suggested that they, instead of doing contracts, that the county adopt a local law, which would say, okay, the county is now giving each town, a share of the bed tax money for these purposes. And this is how we're calculating what your share is. This is what you expect to get for at least the next 3 to 5 years without us monkeying around with it. These are the penalties for you to fail to file an audit account to us so that we can see that just the towns are spending the money in the right way and things like that. But they're not going in the direction I suggested. They're doing contracts. So when I have one, I'll show it to everybody. And then we also,
Favor, can I just ask to clarify? Previously, I think initially it was, basically something like 90% of the money is coming out of North Elba, is generated in North Elba.
correct.
And some of that is distributed throughout the county. I think initially the plan was to do 20,000, and then that kept increasing to every town directly, which is, 90% of that 20,000 is coming from North Elba. A tiny percent is coming from Wilmington and everywhere else. It's distributed broadly, 20,000 per town. What is that number now? It was initially 20,000, I think.
They have each town gets a flat rate.
Yep.
Of, I forget what it is, but X. They get like 80,000 each town.
Maybe 40.
Oh, no, it's more.
Because it started at 20.
No, it's just, they get, we get, if the town of Essex, which barely generates any
Right.
bed tax money, it's getting 80,000. I'm gonna guess that's what they're handing out. I sent out spreadsheets before that showed the calculations, and I don't remember. Wilmington is and will no longer be the second place generator of bed tax. Scruman is going to pass us pretty soon, and then Jay will probably be passing us as well. So we get a pro rata share after you hit the baseline of the stuff that's generated within our town.
Mhm.
And that may be going down unless the pie grows so big. What's happened with Nicole and I are looking at, we have not received our third quarter bed tax check from the county, and we'll need it because on November 12th we're going to do a lot of budget amendments, and right now from what we've actually received isn't quite enough to equal what it is that we're budgeting our budget assumptions in this one. But I'm confident that our August was so big that we'll be able to make it. We just need that number from the county and the check.
Was it, I'm just quickly trying to look for which page it's on because I'm not sure. Was it, if I remember right, it was like we'd received 77,000 so far. Is that right?
That's right.
So that's great. So they're conceivably will be at 140.
Oh, no.
Right, because the fall will be quieter in the winter.
No. We don't book the fourth quarter check until next year.
Got it. Right.
So if we're at 77, we really need to get 30 to 40,000 in the next check in order to make what it is we budgeted.
Well,
We budgeted 70.
No, but what we've spent in terms of like the beach is over budget. This year we need to use bed tax money to
We
help.
budgeted 70, but we've also spent other money out of that. Like we bought the dump truck box out of it. We bought the generator out of it, plus the 70 that we had in last year's budget. So we were way more than 70.
got it.
So this year's budget revenue anticipation is probably, let me see the revenues. So we put in 100,000.
For next year.
Yeah.
This year we used 83,700.
Okay.
So yeah,
We still have one more check coming in. Yeah, the second quarter check was $15,000, which isn't really going to make it for us if we keep getting $15,000 checks.
When do we get the flat rate? At the end of the year or the beginning?
It doesn't go that way anymore. You just get quarterly payments and your flat rate and
It's
whatever the
built
other is all in one check.
So technically, we've already got 3 payments because last year's payment came in the first quarter, and then you're always a quarter behind. So this next quarter will be the last one for this year,
That's right.
and the fourth quarter will be the first one for next year.
But this next one should be large because it's for the summer.
And plus, I had a very big August. That's all they took. What a great August. So we'll find out. But I called the treasurer today to get him to see if he could give me a number. And I didn't hear back, so.
Well, if we only need to make up 6,000, that's not bad.
All right, so then the proposed one, we reduced the tentative 5% increases for all employees to 4%. We haven't made any changes to the health insurance premiums. The amount that's not going to change. The 18% increase in retirements, probably set in stone. We have reduced the independent auditing and accounting line from 5,000 to 3,500. We've eliminated the addition of building expense to add an alarm system with the idea that we tried to pay for that this year out of the contingency fund to get it repaired. So it doesn't need to be budgeted next year. We can just pay for it from the contingency fund. Then we have, we removed the dam insurance and removed the comprehensive plan. The discussion was if we're awarded a grant from New York State in December, the next year's board could use some sort of unappropriated fund balance to help create what it is the town needs to pay to get that ball rolling and wait for the state to reimburse us. So the youth programs, of course, was the one that was the bridge too far. So that got reduced. And then tentative budget shows an increase in the tax levy. We've kept the tax increase levy to 1.98% with this revised 10/16/25 budget. And we're not using fund balance to make up any kind of shortfall because there isn't going to be a shortfall. The next paragraphs is in all black, but that was only referring to the tentative budget that was submitted on October 1st, because there's not a budget shortfall with the proposed preliminary budget. And then the other one was in green. So this revised budget shows increase in STR fees from as revenues from 45 to 55,000. It's based on a lot of Doug's information that he's given us. We've increased the garbage fees.
That was just to get stuff to balance, I think.
Okay, that's where we get the $140. And then the parks and rec fees. We'll have, the town next year, what's the park and rec fees stuff? I mean,
Boat
just,
rentals,
that's the boat rentals?
yes.
How much should we do?
Um, We got $4,007.75.
Okay, so that's pretty good. So we've increased that. There'll be other parks and rec fees coming in soon. We're gonna have to do, you wanna use the field, that's $200 kind of stuff coming. Is that right?
100.
Well, just whatever, I'm just throwing out a number, but that would change we don't have any basis to budget for it next year. But that's something to keep an eye on if that revenue is significant or meaningful in any way. I saw a wedding going on at Marcy Field, Tina, a couple weeks ago. How much you charge for that? $2,000. No wonder you're paying all your highway guys all that money. Amen. So that is the budget notes that Nicole has helpfully put together in different colors for us to look at.
Do you think there will be a budget surplus at the end of this year to add to fund balance? Or do you think it'll be really close or a little shy or?
I am estimating general fund at 500,000, highway at 300,000, and water at 20,000.
Surplus?
Estimated fund balance.
He asked if at the end of the year, based on the monthly operating statements, do you think there's going to be much money left?
I do not. I think we're going to be pretty close.
So yeah, well, I'm sort of into the November 12th regular board meeting is going to have, we've got now and I'll share a resolution where we're going to, the board will be able to vote on sort of transfers from one account to another. So for example, the beach was way over budget. And so in order for us to we could pay for some of that with taking a little money from the music, the music series, which we have $1,500 in that account. So you have a less formal way of moving money between accounts, and you identify where the movie's money to and from and things like that. So we're going to try to do as many of those as we can. Then we're going to try to offer budget amendments because once we know what we've actually going to realize in terms of bed tax, we're going to have to recognize that as revenue, and then it's going to help pay for to make up the gap at the beach and things like that. So we'll recognize that we have to amend the budget to reflect that change. And then it'll make it easier in December when we're trying to actually look at our reserves and saying, oh, okay, we do have some more reserves. So that's what I anticipate our November meeting is going to be, spending some time doing this. Nicole and I have worked through how much money we'll need to do to make up some of the shortfalls and some of the budget items. And that's another reason why I'm calling the county to find out what that number is. So get that done.
It caught my eye, that we paid $6,500 in attorney's fees, and I just don't remember using the town attorney very much, so.
Well, the first attorney's fees were to pay off the Rose and Larry lawsuit.
Okay.
That was most of the year. I don't think we paid, we had to pay three. That was mostly them, wasn't it? Thinking about it. So we paid Mark Shackner, I think like $325 towards the opinion on the KOA thing for the planning board. And apart from that, though, we haven't really paid for an attorney. So that was all part of the
Got it.
end of that lawsuit. That was Whitman Osterman's bill. But no, we haven't spent any.
How much does the beach employee that takes in the fees, what's their salary? Do you have any idea? I mean, I'm just wondering if that is equal.
We had them at $1,650.
So that amount, is that, over the course of the summer, is that more than what we're collecting in fees or less than what we're collecting in fees?
I would say more.
His salary is more than what we're, okay.
Well, call me, call me a softie, but I like to see, kids who have programs and they get paid for summer jobs and stuff. I don't mind the municipality helping to get people, kids who want to work, stuff like that. It was $1,650. I thought it was 15 something.
No, it was $1,650.
Okay. There you go. But that, yeah, the boat rental, the beach will need to be given a hard look at next year. To be honest with you.
Scheduling and so on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what are we doing? What happened this year with the beach is Ashley ended up, so much of Ashley's salary should have been paid from the youth center. And instead it was taken from the beach budget because she stayed at the beach budget when we didn't have, there were supposed to be 3 people up doing the youth type stuff at the beginning of the year, including Ashley. So that her rate was high because that was the promise that was made. Oh, good, my heart rate's up. So that's what happened. Is Ashley, it ended up increasing the budget personal services line of the beach because she wasn't working up there, and that's why we have money left over in the youth center.
So we'll move that. Well, that's part of next month.
Yeah, that's the whole
Change. Got it.
discussion.
Anyone have any thoughts or conversations about the court timekeeping for the court clerk? Discuss that at all?
No, I have not. I tried to, I was talking to Mike a little bit about it, but I didn't get very far. I think it's a massive money loser for the town, generally speaking. We collected I remember one month I'm looking at the collection, we turned over $1,000 something to the controller in this township was $150. So it's just kind of like, it's gonna fall over under, at some point under its weight. We'll just have to revisit. In order for us to get rid of the town justice, we'd have to have the legislature in Albany approve it. Towns have the authority to do what we did before, which is switch out the number of justices. But they can't get rid of the justice board. And it's just, I think it's a freaking waste of time.
Can we consolidate with other towns?
Yes, there is the Tug Hill Commission. There's a whole report done on Tug Hill where they looked at how best to consolidate with other towns. And I think that's probably what the town should do in the near future. Town J's big town.
I honestly don't think you're gonna save money by consolidating, since there's only one judge in each town. Because they're still gonna wanna have two judges for backup, and you're still gonna have to pay them. I think if you had like two judges in each town, you dropped it just two altogether.
I'm thinking about sharing clerical services, though, to be honest with you.
You gotta find somebody that wants to do it.
That's true.
And the judge ultimately has the choice of who they want. The town board doesn't have much say over that. We went through this down there.
You have a separate clerk down there too, don't you?
Yes, we do. And really, if the judge says that's who I want, and it's gonna cost you more, you really don't have a choice. It's something that,
Well-
the town board's hands, it's really part of the state.
We do have a
But
say.
You're limited amount
Yeah.
of say, limited.
Yeah.
If the judge wants this woman, you're pretty much stuck with it.
I don't have anything against, I think she's good. I just think it's odd that there's no timekeeping.
We don't, it's, when somebody's hired as a salaried employee, they could work 5 hours, they could work 500 hours. It's a flat rate. I mean, there's a lot of other people that work on salaries. Louis, for instance, if he put in all of his overtime, you owe him more money.
Well,
But
it's no different than the cemetery, sexton, or any of those positions either. They're just a flat rate.
Right,
It's
well-
still the favor that it's a dead horse.
it's a
Nobody makes money on it.
Keen.
We can make money if we had a state police station again here in town, where you're writing more tickets. But
Yeah.
how many tickets are getting written now?
We just need a state shed and a main route from Lake Placid to here and we'd be all set.
That's right, Keen.
Yeah.
They make a ton of money on that stuff.
Very good. I
Just park up on White Bay during the summer
Yeah. Oh, it's
or
Or
anywhere.
by
really.
white face.
Yeah.
Hey, they had somebody
I
on
just
top
think so.
part this morning.
well, no, I saw somebody pull somebody over in front of, drive right past my house in the middle of the night and pull somebody over in front of Tim Devon's place. I said, all right, good for them.
Good for them in town.
Yeah, it is
Good
nice.
for them in town.
It is nice.
I just got another complaint yesterday about, you have any questions about anything going on in town or issues, speeding? It is consistently one of the top things I hear about.
We do need them in town more. We absolutely do. I agree.
All right, so let's see, more questions about this budget? Okay, I think it's a very, personally,
Yeah,
anyone might take a comment about the budget, I can make a comment.
I can make a comment too.
Go
I'd
ahead.
like to make a comment. Just that I agree and I appreciate, some of the things I've been asking for a long time are in here and I really do appreciate that. And I really appreciate that we're staying, of course, underneath the tax cap. I think that's great. And, so I applaud Nicole and, be glad to vote for this.
Okay, anybody else? I agree with Tim.
Very clean, thank you.
I agree with him.
Good.
Can I request that my purchasing go from 2,500 to 3,000?
No,
You're gonna request that?
Yeah.
too late.
Just the prices of everything has gone up. and
Which line item?
No, it's
Well,
his
it's just-
ability to spend money
Okay.
without.
Oh, that's a resolution, that's a big deal. Oh, sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's,
If I buy 3 tires, it's over.
Okay, so, but that's something we can handle at the meeting where we
Yeah, I
have
didn't know which one
resolutions
it
like
was,
that.
but just,
That's your organizational meeting resolution that says in order for you to publish.
Retired,
right.
$4,000 by themselves.
Thank you for clarifying
What's
that.
that?
Yeah, I thought we
Retired,
could
if
do
you
it.
like $4,000 by themselves, depending on which truck.
Okay. So if
The
a
only
motion,
thing I'm gonna
Okay.
just bring up, and I'm not necessarily proposing this, but I just wanna get the board's feeling on it is, I mean, it kind of goes along with what Tim said with Ashton, but it's rather than just Ashton, it's for everybody. The employees asked for 5, we brought it back to 4. However, we continually seem to lose employees to places like Keene because of our salaries being a little bit lower than Keene and Blackbrook and a few of the other neighboring towns. At some point, we're gonna have to try to cut that gap. And the 2% tax cap is not really the tax cap for the town. We can go up to 4.4, and by no means do I want to go up to 4.4%. But if we met the employees on what they wanted at the 5%, I think it would be a good faith thing and see that we're trying to help them out where we can. It would basically add 9,000 to the budget, which would bring us to like 2.8%, still keep us under the allowable tax cap and help bridge the gap from some of the other neighboring towns, especially when some of the other neighboring towns are only doing 3.5. So that brings them a little bit closer. It's just something that, you know, if we want to keep employees and we want to have good employees, then I think eventually that we will have to do something.
you know,
Or we can stay as is, but I just wanted to get everybody's feeling on that.
one of the things that my, talking around with the colleagues at the board supervisors on the towns, they sort of follow a pattern where they stay pretty much level over a period of time, and then they go big one year when they're going to break through the tax cap. They'll go big in order to help with the salary differentials. Wilmington tends to like to stay stay pretty even keel, and that's why we have a we're trying to catch up with the inflation all that. So it seems to me that if the board has got sort of like an idea that they're going to look at their salaries and their employees and how they're doing relative to the other towns, that you're going with below the tax cap, below the tax cap, below the tax cap, below through the tax cap, and give them the raises, because by then you will have a group of people who've been here at least 3 or 4 years. You get the longevity feeling about it. They're sticking around. They're not. If you get a situation where they're coming and going and stuff like that, then it's going to be really hard for the town to figure that out.
I agree with that, but our goal every single year, despite what may have been said, is to always stay below the tax cap. We never want to exceed the tax cap.
No, I'm saying,
It's just certain years when you have 8% inflation, it's almost impossible
Yeah.
to stay below 2%.
I know.
Or the allowable tax cap by the state. I feel like in years where we've done a relatively good job on the budget and had some relatively good revenue increases, if we can afford that little increase now, next year we might be able to only afford a 3% increase. If we can afford it now without blowing through the tax cap, I feel like it maybe would be a good time to stick that in there, because next year we might only be able to afford a 3% and not go over the tax cap allowed. That was my thought.
Fair enough.
But I'm not necessarily pressuring for it. I'm asking for comments.
Okay. Well, let's hear some. Laura,
I mean, we have gone up quite a bit. Nicole validated it with that the numbers were for.
Basically, we've stayed right on inflation.
We haven't. Some of them have been quite a bit over.
I don't remember, honestly, I don't.
But I'm not, these salaries are reasonable. But we cannot, it's a hard pace to continue. We went up 3.5 last year. I can't remember what it was the year before. We added in the longevity, which is still substantial for some of the people that have been here for a long period of time. And then we're adding 5% this year. And then, going backwards, we can't continue to offer that type of an increase year after year after year. I mean, coming from, NISNA and, our inflation, we've not gone up that far as a nursing salary year after year after year. I mean, we do minimal increases, and then, if the hospital has a huge raise, whatever. I just think that we can't continue to keep going up 5%, 3.5%, 5%. I think if we did 4, it would be good. 5 is still reasonable. I mean, it's not a huge chunk of money because we don't have a lot of employees, but I think it's setting a bad precedent. And I think Tim Preston had said it last year that it's, something that probably, he made some good points. I can't remember exactly what he said, but, it is hard to keep up with other neighboring towns, but, if we continue to keep up with neighboring towns, they're going to continue to raise their pay as well, because that's just, you can't, everybody goes up and then everybody goes up again and everybody goes up and everybody goes up again. I don't know.
That's the way it works.
But you're chasing after employees.
Well, the problem is too, then you're losing your talent.
So you're all chasing after employees.
Well,
And we lost them to you.
Yeah.
Because of that,
so
That's what I'm saying.
but we were.
so if you want the lower caliber person, you're not gonna get these people.
But the same thing is, regardless, they're gonna go wherever, it's kind of like when COVID hit. Everybody left for the next dollar they could make. It wasn't about the benefits, it was wherever the next dollar was. I was working at Orta at the time, and I watched a contractor. 2 contractors were in the same building, and one quit that day and went next to the next one beside him because he was paying 50 cents more now. So they're just going wherever
Yeah.
they're making the next dollar.
Yeah.
So,
And longevity pay, not everybody gets that either.
yeah, and that's it.
I
So,
don't get it this year.
Well, I mean, I 100% understand what you're saying, Laura, but I mean, there's also a certain thing in there with professional trades where a lot of people are getting away from certain trades, being truck drivers or getting into that and going into different fields, whether it be computers or whatever. And I'm not putting you on the spot and I'm not asking for that, but a nursing salary is definitely way more than $26 an hour, which we're, paying these guys to do a pretty important job.
I definitely said that this was low. I mean, this is.
I know, I'm
very
just saying,
modest.
it's like, it's a very modest pay, especially for the area. There's really not, it's a good job with okay benefits, especially with state salary or state retirement stuff now, which is not what it was, but it's not by any means on the higher end of the pay scale in the area.
I didn't say that. I also, as I said, it's just hard to continue to keep that pace. If we're going to continue keeping that pace, it's going to come, it will be a problem in the future.
But that's why you need to take advantage of it in years that you can. So
It's
in
hard to
certain years
explain
you
that.
can't.
It's hard to explain that to the employees who have been accustomed to getting a 3.5, a 5, over year after year, and then say, oh, sorry, you're not going to be getting that raise this year. It's a hard thing to go back on. That's what I'm
I
trying to
understand
say.
what she's saying. If we give them 5% this year, and then next year we don't have the money, we're saying, okay, you're only gonna get 3.
Yeah.
They're gonna say, why?
Yeah,
Why are you
other
only
towns
doing
do the 2%
Yeah.
stuff, and
Yeah.
then they go big. I mean, their idea, my thing.
But I understand what you're saying.
I mean, it's all gonna
We
work
have
out,
the
and
money.
it's either catch them up now or catch them up later. So
Right.
we can go 4, 4, 4, 4, or we can go 5, 3, 5, 3. In the end, it's still gonna work out the same. It's just whether we
Yeah.
catch the employees up now to the other towns, or we do it.
For years, we got 2%, and we were right competitive with the other towns.
In the end, you're right. All towns are probably gonna end up be the same, because if we did 5 this year, maybe other towns next year will do 5 and we'll only do 3. It's all gonna come out in the wash.
Right, because last year we did 5.
Right. But this year you're doing three.
This year we're doing 3.
So again, it's
Yeah.
kind of that game back and forth.
It's averaging out.
Right.
No, I think that it's sort of the theory between the, keep it flat and then go big. It's kind of like pulling the Band-Aid off quickly for going through the tax cap. They're gonna do it one year and have everyone.
And that's what Jay did last year when they went like 8% on their increase or something like that on the budget. But this year they're at 2.8.
Well, we did that. We did 5 last year. We're doing 3 this year, and our employees aren't asking at all. They're just-
Because of that, we would have to do 3.5 this year. So we gave them a big raise last year.
Yeah, see, that's what I was.
So it's all evening out. It's just do it in the year you can afford to do it, or you might be able to scoop 2 or 3 years after you do a 5% at 3%. The cost of living doesn't go up as much.
Tim?
You just don't want to get caught behind and then have to do that big break of the tax cap, which Wilmington's been very good at not breaking. You can still not break it this year. And I don't care what you do. You know.
Haven't we gone through the tax cap every year but one?
We never use.
Resolution, but we don't always go over.
The past 2 years we had, but before that we hadn't in multiple years. When Randy was here, I don't know if we ever went over the tax cap
It's once a year.
once.
Once.
But every year Roy was in, right?
I'd have to double check that. I don't, I think it was only one time, but I have to double check.
Once or twice.
Or 3 times. Mostly I mean, I do agree with Darren, but I also don't want to go above 2%. So I would want to figure out a way to do both things, to accomplish both things.
And it's the 2% just as a in your head 2% thing, because either way we wouldn't be getting penalized by the state because we're not over the allowable.
I just think it's a good guidepost to measuring post for us.
But
To
I guess I understand what you're saying. It was really a stupid thing that the state government put in effect, because how can town budgets never go up more than 2% when the cost of living is always over 2%? Eventually something has to be cut or you have to go over. You cannot maintain when everything else is going up more than the 2%. I never understood why it was 2% when the cost of living is never 2%.
the rate of inflation.
Right.
Yep.
It's never 2%. So at some point, you can't maintain that, or else it doesn't work. You lose, you have to cut services.
There's the built-in loophole mechanism, but that's why I like it. It just gives the town a measuring post. It gives the town a goal to strive for. And I don't think it's an unrealistic goal.
Well, I'm good at staying with 4% instead of keeping it simple.
Any other comments about this? I mean, I think we can't go up. After you pass the preliminary budget, we can't increase expenditures. We can reallocate them, can't we? So the idea that for the final budget, after we have the public hearing, and it seems like 5%, we just need to know that number. Because there's something else that the board may want to cut.
It's like $10,000, right? If the difference going from 4 to 5.
9, he said.
And Darren said 9,000.
Well, like 8,800 or something.
Yeah, so there may be something that we could do without necessarily increasing the expenditure, which is not allowable.
And I will have numbers up opening and
Oh, thank you,
So-
Tina.
just letting you know, I had to. I got a meeting.
And I'll have somebody out on maternity leave.
He's moving to Florida.
I know that we've talked about this and I apologize for bringing it up again. The sales tax from the county, we're at 75 now. And we've received our last check for the year for sales tax.
That's a mystery to me.
No, I don't believe we have, no.
That could be where we could find the missing money, the missing
Well,
9,000.
right, they haven't given us, right, so sales tax falls on the same times as the bed tax. They like to hold it till the end of October to make sure everything comes in, which is a bunch of bull. And, so I know what I can estimate what the bed tax is probably gonna be. Sales tax, I have no idea. I just sit there and say, well, it was a good August, let me just say that. So it could be a good number, and that'll allow us in December to look at and see where we're at the end of the year to set aside the reserves and things like that.
Could we go to 5 then if we get,
But we don't know what that's gonna be next year. We use that money to pay for things this year. And we'd have fund balance left over, or we wouldn't have fund balance, we'd have more money.
To go up, don't we have to do that now? And you can cut, but you can't add after we pass the preliminary. So you could actually go to 5% now, and then if you decide you couldn't do it, you can change it because you can cut it.
I'm gonna stick with the clean. We can discuss the 5% at some, as I was saying, we could reallocate after we hear from the public. But right now, I think
Can we do that?
we're not spending more money. We're just moving it between this pot over here and that pot over there.
Oh,
this is sales tax.
Okay.
What's the plan for this ski program?
No idea, Tim. I'm making a motion to accept this as the preliminary budget. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion.
Is there a plan?
That's
No.
not, this is the budget time.
I know, but
It's
it's
built,
in the budget. I mean, it was
Yeah,
cut.
$12,000.
yeah, we have $12,000.
Yeah, we were looking at that. You're thinking if we are doing the ski program, it's $12,000.
Well,
No, that's not what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking that it was originally at like 52 for youth programming and we set it to 12, so that worries me.
But we have more in the youth
More
programs than we ever have before,
12 is more than we've ever
plus
had.
the other youth department that we already had in there.
There.
I didn't realize there was another line item.
It's just above it, it's 2 lines above it.
okay.
And then,
So one is, what page? Do you know?
Page 6.
I think it's right above it.
Are we ready to vote? Or are we?
No, he was pausing, so we have a motion and a second, and this is the discussion part.
Nicole,
So this is the use for the summer.
7,000.
Yep, and then they have, so that plus the 12,000 is the 19,000, which is more than the 17,000 that we had set aside for last year. Am I incorrect there or am I correct there?
I didn't follow what you were saying.
The 7,000 under youth program on page 6, the personal services for the summer staff. We have 7,000 set aside for that. And then the 12,000 under youth center would be 19,000 for that combined programming, correct or incorrect?
Right, so the whole block that's entitled youth program is brand new this year.
Right.
And what, the other part was youth center. So one part got cut 5, the contractual expenses stayed the same. So even if you take 5,000 away from the 7 or the 12,200, we're still $7,200 in brand new money more than what we had last year. You understand where I got that from? Youth center last year was 10,000. This year it's 5,000.
So the rink staff, I didn't even factor in the rink staff or the CEs. So yeah, that is quite a bit more. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So even if you take that 5,000 off from the 12,200, it's still a plus 7,200.
Right, so this was our original, and then this plus this is 24.2,
Two.
which is
Last year we only had 17.
right. So.
Mhm.
Seven.
And years past, the ski program was paid for out of the youth center budget,
Youth center, yes.
and it was enough. was sufficient.
That and donations.
Not really.
Donations,
Okay.
yeah.
I think we could look at grants and things like that for that this year.
Well,
We did have donations for last year, overrode or underwrote the whole thing, right?
One guy paid for the whole program last year.
But we're gonna need to hire someone to actually organize and oversee the program.
Pat doesn't want to do it.
No, Amy had done it. Amy organized the whole thing and was dealing with the emails with the parents and the emails with Whiteface and Pat just chaperoned.
Great, thanks. Yeah, we also have the, Tina's showing us a check, from the CYC, right?
Yeah.
$10,000 donation from them. That'll be applied towards this stuff as well. So, yeah, there are donations coming in and things like that, but it is more, it's a larger than last year's.
But still gives out a grant that we need to apply for every year. Also, that they'll pay for your ski program if you apply for the grant. And they'll pay for cross-country and downhill.
Great.
Well, I just want to mention, we probably should think about trying to advertise or figure out who's going to oversee the program and organize it and do what Amy had done.
The grant we got was $1,000, I think. And then whatever you don't use, you just,
Grant closed or is it still open?
the grant, I think, is closed for this year. I just got the information on how to apply for it. So I have it for what they need for next year. It's actually, excuse me, through Killington. And, because what we didn't use this year, they end up buying helmets and a whole bunch of stuff for the kids to use for.
Can you bring the information over so that it can get looked at for next year?
Print that out for you.
I say we just charge Whiteface more for their water and pay for our ski
I
program that
think we
way.
have to look at,
I
look
think
into that
what
one.
they should just give us
Just
the
pay raise for
program.
the employees too.
Okay, so we have a
7%.
motion and second. Any further questions or discussion?
No, I think I said what I'm gonna
Roll call vote.
to raise that issue. Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Tim, this copy here that you have, right?
okay,
The one that you printed out and gave to Dawn. What we run into, this is the old rate that I typed up. This is what I was thinking about the social security nonsense. But the new rate will have to go with this sort of, and with the dollar bit versus stuff, you always end at 999.
okay.
Because that way, nobody's sitting there saying, I'm in the higher bracket, I got 35,000. I'm in the lower.
Okay,
So that's it.
so do you need me to do anything?
What?
Rewrite it.
You know,
Have to rewrite. Okay.
just, get the schedule. You're proposing, I think, the middle one, right?
The $5,000.
Yeah, right, so that those three columns I saw, like, so you're proposing the middle one, just a new schedule.
Just add in the 99.
Yeah, it's kind of the way that this one works, 0 to 25.
34,999,
Got it.
35, 36,999, that kind of thing.
And then, if you want to have it, I can give you the Word document at the local law part, so you can just have it nice and
That'd be better.
clean.
That'd be
But
better.
you're supplying that part right there. And I'll get rid of this part. Okay, good. Public comment, please.
Also change the 23 to 25.
I have one thing before that we did public comment. Do we have to, or have we already done, I can't remember, to let the election use the building on the 4th?
That's done when they contract with the Board of Elections the first of the year. We
Yeah,
have to do
I
it.
think,
Okay,
I
I
think
can't
that's,
remember. I remember at some point us voting on
It's
something.
a yearly thing.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
no, that's fine. Public comment.
We're talking about the youth stuff. I don't know if Keene got it. He just got 10,000, I believe it was through the county. They got new soccer goals with it. Something that we just had to apply for, and I think there's another one coming up
We
after January.
applied for the sports grants and all that stuff and got some of that.
Did you get the 10?
We got two different ones. We got one earlier in the summer, then we just got another one. There was
Just got
gonna
this
be
one. We bought soccer goals.
same place we just talked about today.
I'd say they're not full-size goals, they're a little bit smaller because
Yeah.
the different use groups, depending on age, use different size soccer goals.
Yeah,
Kids are smaller today.
yeah. Yeah,
So they wanted somebody to move.
we had a couple different ones that we got.
All right, so, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for the info.
Thank you, public. Motion to close the meeting, please.
Second.
All in favor, right? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
There we go.